Happy Camper Radio.
It is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 230. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. No doubt about it, my friends. We're going to make a happy camper out of you. Happy Memorial Day, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you back here in the studio with us. On today's episode, I've got a very interesting topic here, Daniel.
Okay.
Do you worry about home security when
No,
you're
I got-
away on vacation?
No.
Yeah,
But
I
at
guess
home, I got you next door, so I'm good.
Yeah, I guess that was a dumb question. Well, myself personally, I am the type of person, I worry a lot. At least I did for a number of years. I'm going to give you some pointers on what you can do to better relax and take full advantage of your summer vacation when you go away camping. Episode 230 of the Happy Camper Radio Show coming at you.
Happy Camper Radio.
And the Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by great listeners like yourself. You can find us in the iTunes Store, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and now on Odyssey, Samsung, and Player FM.
Yeah.
A lot of great places you can reach out to us. Of course, you can find us on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and if you want to be a part of our studio audience, check out our YouTube channel where you can see us in action. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, too.
You could be one of the clappers, right, Skip?
Speaking of clapping, yeah, Daniel, we've got a shout-out here.
Ah!
Yes, we've got somebody to say hello to locally. It's
Hello.
going to be Cindy Jones Mills of Forsyth County, Georgia. She follows us on Facebook. Oh,
That's
yeah.
right up the road.
It is, yeah.
There you go.
Now, why don't you answer the phone?
Hello? Yeah?
That wasn't supposed
Hello?
to happen. Hey,
Oh,
Cindy, thank you so
boy.
very much for joining us.
Oh, there's
Glad
the
to have
studio
you on board.
audience.
Glad to have you on board. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Hey, you want to be on the show with Daniel and I? Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, or
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
yes, look forward to hearing from you. Well, Daniel, I'll tell you what, Memorial Day is a day to relax and remember.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it started out very lousy. I decided I was going to get a few projects out of the way,
Yeah.
and nothing worked out. So here we are in the studio, and I'm going to
Yep.
take it easy the rest of the day, and hopefully all the fireworks tonight won't scare the dog to death.
Hopefully.
And won't have to medicate her
Okay,
because
so,
she does not take the fireworks very well.
Yeah, so I would like to say, Skip, I think I've said a few times before that I was in the Navy, and when I was in boot camp, I was, I started in the Navy on July 20th, 1999, and another sailor started the same day as me. His name is Seaman Wibberley, and unfortunately, in 2000, I think it was 2000, he was on the USS Cole, and he was one of the 19 sailors that died on that ship. So I just want to give a shout out to his family, and I didn't know him that well in boot camp. He was he was in charge of giving out Q-tips for the rest of us, but like I didn't know him that well. But when it happened and I saw his picture and face and I realized who he was, it's they told us when we were in boot camp, and it really hit me kind of hard after this happened, that one of y'all are going to die in the line of service. Statistically, one of y'all, and it was about 70, 80 of us, maybe less, maybe more. There's about 60, 70 of us. But they said that, and they said statistically that one of y'all is going to die in the line of service. And we're like, oh, whatever, not going to happen, whatever. But it happened. And, I honor his memory. And, that's what it's all about. It's about the people that have served and died in the line of duty today.
Yeah,
I just want to put that out
That's
there.
what Memorial Day is all about. You don't Don't look at it as, hey, I just got another day off. It's here for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of parades. There are a lot of services at cemeteries today.
Mm-hmm.
And, for, the gentleman there that you knew that, you just honored here, our hearts and prayers go out to his family.
Yeah, I mean, there was another guy, I don't remember his name, but like this was really rough. So, I was out in the Indian Ocean, and when 9/11 happened. So like when everyone in America experienced 9/11, it was like 8:00 at night, and it was just after dinner time. So anyway, when we got back from that deployment, there was a guy who flew back to New York, and then when he came back from Queens, he was a Queens guy. There was a plane crash, and he died in that plane crash right after we got back from our cruise and everything. And maybe it wasn't in the line of duty, but I don't know. It just really sucks that he died right after we got back from the cruise. And literally, airline accidents never happen. I mean, like, we had 9/11, and then we were all stoked to kick butt and stuff, and then we came back, and then that happened, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
I can see on a day like today, especially you being a veteran, where this is, weighing heavy on you. And I'm glad you brought it forward today on, and taking this time on the Happy Camper Radio Show to, share some of those memories and some of those thoughts and everything.
Yeah.
But it is Memorial Day, and it comes around this time every year. And, we remember the people who have served and gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, today on the program, I want to talk about safety and security.
All right.
For campers. Now, this is going to be an eye-opener type show, because it's something we normally don't talk about. We're just as happy as could be when we talk about camping, and we're all excited about getting out there and having a good time.
Yep.
But, one of the things that has always worried me, and I share my own responsibility for this here, because, I've worried a lot when I go away. Is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a break-in? Was there a fire? Is something happening?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a water leak? Or, is the place flooding? Something is happening, and when you worry like that, you're not taking full advantage of the time that you set aside to go away and spend with your family.
Yep.
All right. Now, here we are today in 2022. Of course, a lot of technology is going to help ease, a lot of that pain and worry when we go away. But I'm talking years past when, I just didn't have anybody to look after my place. Yeah, I worried a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's something that I think everybody should be concerned about. And I saw a few news stories about this locally, and maybe as I'm talking about this, wherever you're at in this world, maybe you can reflect on some similar incidents that occurred in your area. Imagine going away on vacation. Say you're going away for a couple weeks. Everything is okay back at home. When you finally return and you're just all wore out and you're ready to, get back into the daily world and back into the swing of things, you pull into your driveway and you come to find out that your home was broken into and there is a band of squatters living in your home.
Ugh.
Yeah. Now, if you don't know what a squatter is, these are people, and I hate to say there are very evil people in this world, but yeah, they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
These are individuals who take opportunities to break into homes that they find are unoccupied and take up residence. Now, laws are different in all 50 states, but here in Georgia, imagine coming home and finding that. The first thing you're going to do is call the police. You're going to want those people out of your house immediately.
Mm-hmm.
In this state here, it's not always that easy to remove a squatter from the home. Even though you are the rightful residents, even though you had locked up your home and these people broke in and changed the locks, the police are going to arrive on the scene and they're going to say, well, you want to evict these people, you got to go to court to do that. That's a pain and the you know what right there.
Yeah.
All right. To add insult to injury, you're going to have to pay for court costs.
Ugh.
Now, there was a couple recent incidents here in the metro Atlanta area, and after reading about this and watching it on the news, I decided, yeah, we need to talk about this here on the program, because although it's unlikely it can happen, it could very well happen to you if you're away. Here we have one incident in Decatur, Georgia. Now, here's a veteran. He came home from a tour of duty. He was been gone for a year. He shows back up home, and he finds out there are squatters living in his house. He calls the police. The police show up on the scene and say, well, you're going to have to go to the court and get them evicted. We can't do anything about it. What a lot of these folks do, they get in there, they change the locks, and immediately get the utilities put in their name to make it look like they are tenants. And it's not always easy to evict a tenant from your home. All right. So the police aren't going to get involved. So here's this soldier, serving our country, coming on home after a long tour of duty, hoping to get settled back into his home. He finds these squatters there, and he's got to go through the whole to get these people out.
Rigmarole.
Thank you for filling that in for me.
Yeah.
But, he ended up having to pay court costs, and he put a lot of pressure on these folks.
I'd sue him.
And they ended up moving out before the case went to court. Now, he goes back into the house and come to find out that they really messed things up. They caused a lot of property damage.
Yep.
And he doesn't know who these people are. They probably moved into another residence by now. And, this is what you have to deal with. There was another incident in Marietta, Georgia, not very far from here, where a woman had a second property, and she decided she didn't need this property anymore. I don't know how long it was sitting and how long that, when was the last time she checked up on it. But she goes over to the home and come to find out there's this young woman and a child living in her house. And what ended up happening was these squatters went ahead and went in there. I don't know, maybe they weren't squatters. Maybe this was a crime of opportunity. But somebody went in there, broke inside, changed the locks, and then put an advertisement out there, a house for rent, pretending that they were the rightful owner.
Wow.
And they were collecting the rent. They were collecting the deposit, and they didn't even own that property. Now, here's another situation where this woman who did own the home, who wanted to sell it, could not go in there immediately and throw this woman and this child out. Had to go to court to get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and offer some friendly law enforcement tips today on the program that will help you avoid situations like this. I'm not saying that, this is ironclad, this can't happen. It could very well be. But, if you take some time and use some common sense and apply some of these common sense safety tips, they will help you along. All right. Now, keep in mind, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. If you feel you need legal advice, find an attorney in that area, in your area, that practices this. Okay. But this is friendly law enforcement tips. I'm putting my law enforcement cap back on.
There you go.
After a number of years. I've been retired 16 years, but I remember some of this stuff in the academy. All right, the first thing, if you have good neighbors, rely on your neighbors.
I got a neighbor.
Yes, you do. Okay?
You used to be my neighbor. I don't know what you are now.
Well,
you're kind of like a part-time neighbor.
I'm 4 miles away, but I can shoot over there in a New York minute. But
there you go.
Here's a situation where you and Deidre can go away anytime you want, and always rely on myself and your neighbor next door, Lori. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right.
Careful, Skip.
I know. You can rely on us anytime.
Absolutely.
We've always gone over there a couple times a day to feed your cats and show them some attention because they need that. Yeah, if the dog is still there.
That was yesterday. Lori let the dog out yesterday because we were up in Chattanooga, and it was like 12 hours, and he was in his crate, so we had her let him out so he doesn't crap in his his little crate. So Yeah, so, y'all have always been there for us. So
yeah, and
nice.
I always make it a point, too, when I know you're away for any number of days, that I will send you a text message, and I also will snap a picture of the front of your home.
Yeah, Lori sends us, when we're on our trips out of town, she'll send us a video on YouTube of her feeding our cats, and, we get a really good kick out of that because we're crazy cat people, and we love to just watch our cats and see our cats and love our cats. So we always anticipate that video that she always sends us.
And that gives you great peace of mind.
Absolutely.
And I know it would me too. Of course, it's just me and my dog Sadie. And,
Sadie pup.
Yep. And hey, she goes where I go.
That's absolutely true.
Now, another thing you can do too, if you don't have neighbors that you can rely on, or there's some people, you live here, they live next door, and you do your thing, they do theirs, and some neighbors don't really even talk to each other.
Well, they should. I'm sorry.
They should. You're right.
I'm not meaning to interrupt you, Skip, but I don't know. I mean, you were in the generation before me, a couple of generations or whatever, but back then, everyone knew everyone. Everyone kind of looked out for everyone, and I feel like we need to get back to that. And right. We're all Americans. I mean, I'm sure there's people living overseas listening to this, maybe in other countries and everything, but back in the day, I mean, I was born in 1980, but we knew each other. We knew our neighbors. I know my neighbor. I knew pretty much everyone around me. I know you that was next to me on the right. I know my other neighbor on the left. I don't know them as good as I know you, obviously, but I know who they are. I have their number, and I just feel like, you need to, be friendly with your neighbors, and, that's, I don't know. In my opinion, it's the American thing to do, and, get along with them. Maybe you don't have to be best friends or whatever, but, be on a speaking relationship with pretty much all the people around you, because you never know when you're going to need them. I've depended on you countless times, and, I'm always there for you, and it's a copacetic thing, but, I think it's good to rely on each other, because, there's a lot of people self-reliance, I'll do this on myself, but everyone needs someone at some point in time, They really do. Mm-hmm. So I think that, I understand what you're saying, but I would suggest, first of all, get to know your neighbors, invite them over, have a cup of coffee or whatever, and just get to know them. Maybe you don't have to be best friends with them, but just get to know them, maybe trade numbers if you feel comfortable. But, you never know when they're going to need you and when you're going to need them. And I think that's safety right there. I think that's the most secure thing you can do, because if everyone has each other's back, then, everything will be all right, sure. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. But, even if, you don't talk to your neighbors, maybe you're lucky enough to have Mrs. Kravitz living across the street. You know who Mrs. Kravitz is, Daniel, don't
you? Elaborate.
All right. Mrs. Kravitz is the kind of a neighbor that will drive you nuts. You could be out there washing your car. You could be walking the dog. You could be just going out to the front just for a breath of fresh air. And Mrs. Kravitz is across the street, always peering through the window.
Don't you mean Mr. Scooter? Hello?
Well, that's another story, Daniel.
Oh, boy.
No, but, there's Mrs. Kravitz will drive you nuts, but she is also the first person who will call the police if she sees something isn't right.
Sounds like Scooter.
Okay? So, rely on your neighbors if you can. Also, think about the outside of your home, the surroundings of your home. If you normally are away on vacation and you don't have any cars parked in the driveway, see if your neighbor will park their car in your driveway. Okay, if they have an extra car, have them put it in your driveway.
There you
because
go.
For people who are just passing by, who have no earthly idea who lives there or who live next door, it makes it look like somebody is home. Somebody is living in the house. That is so very important. I always keep my blinds closed at all times, especially in the summer here, Daniel, because, we want to keep the hot temperatures out and the cool air inside like we have right now in the studio.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, I always keep my blinds closed. They're never open, and this way nobody can just walk up to a window and look inside to see what's going on. Is anybody in there? I always got the beware of dog sign out.
Yep.
That's also a good deterrent as well.
That's Sadie pup.
Okay.
You got to watch out for her.
Yeah.
So I noticed that I would say the number one thing that deters people, because not too long ago, we had an incident in my neighborhood. I mean, you're kind of a part-time person, but in our neighborhood, right across the street where there were some people, that broke into this lady's house, and I think they stole a gun or whatever. But I feel like the best way to keep people from maybe approaching your residence as a potential opportunity for them is have a security system, or maybe you had a security system and maybe you don't anymore, but keep those signs out, because I've talked to security professionals, and they've said that sign out front and maybe by the mailbox or in front of your house, they see that sign. It doesn't matter who it is, insert blank here, security company, but they see that and they're like, I'm not even going to worry about it because that's just extra hassle. And they move on to whoever doesn't have that. So I've heard that that's a big thing.
And you're right about that, Daniel. Today, the ring camera is a big thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that, and I know you deliver mail.
Oh yeah.
So you probably see a lot of ring cameras.
I always give them a little dance after I deliver the mail.
I'd like to see that. I might get a ring camera.
I'm trying to get on
just to see that.
YouTube. I'm trying to get on YouTube. It's funny you say this because I saw this girl on Facebook. She was doing a river dance at this front porch, and I'm trying to get on YouTube. I'm trying to be famous. I need to put like some kind of a Happy Camper Radio hat on so I can, promote the show while I'm doing my Happy River dance, being a mailman.
But you touched on something that's very important, and that you should have a security system for your home. Now, I'm not going to recommend any type of company. There's a lot of good companies out there, but I have one, and without giving it away, when I bought this system, I was allowed to build my own system, and I own my equipment. All right. So, if you can you can buy a number of door entry systems. You can buy, motion sensors. Just the other day, I bought another motion sensor specifically for the studio. But, I've got, motion sensors all throughout the house. So I didn't bother getting the window break sensor, because if somebody breaks a window, they're going to intend on getting inside anyway. All right. So, you break a window, it's going to set the motion sensor off. But, in this particular area, I can't recall in the 30 years that we've been over here where we ever had a problem.
Yeah.
We're far off the road. You always have outdoor lights on. All my lights are on timers, so they come on at nighttime.
That's good.
And they go off in the morning time. I got them set at certain times, and a certain number of lights come on. And then, of course, we have some interior lights on at night.
Oh
so
yeah.
That really helps too. That helps deter. So if you're going to get an alarm system, make sure that your alarm is connected to a central monitoring station that is monitoring your system 24/7. So if an alarm does go off, they can, jump right on it. You might even want to go ahead as far as notifying the alarm company that you're going to be away from this day and you're going to be coming back on this day.
Yeah, that's
Meaning,
smart.
as if the alarm does go off, instead of calling you first, they call the police, because seconds count when a burglar enters your home.
Absolutely.
They can get in and out of there very quickly, but the sooner you get the police on top of that, the better off you're going to be. I know I've got, with the motion sensors, I know this system works, because when my family was in town one time, and my brother's got this little Chihuahua dog, cute little dog, and I went ahead and set the alarm to away mode, which means nobody should have been in the house. And I wasn't thinking at the time that the dog was in there. And it was no more than 15 minutes later, I get a call from the alarm company, and he says, we're, calling about an alarm activation at your residence. And of course, I've given them permission far in advance that they can look in the cameras, and see what's going on inside the house in the event of an alarm. And she said, yeah, I see the dog.
Okay.
And I'm going, oh, okay. So I had to go ahead and reset it.
Here's another thing I'd like to say, because a while ago, my car got stolen out of my driveway, and, it was a 2000 Civic Si. It was a highly coveted car to steal. And, I went to the place where they found it, because, I called the police and they filed a report and everything and they found it. And, sorry, it's a little hard to say this because like it was my first real car that I bought, but like they stripped everything and it hurt hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to myself, what are they going to steal? I don't have nothing. I don't wear jewelry. My wife doesn't wear jewelry. We don't have cash. We don't have this. We don't have that. But like just the fact that someone comes into your house and just wrecks it, just, throws everything everywhere and ransacks it or whatever, it hurts.
It hurts, Daniel, because you've been violated.
Yeah.
That's what the bottom line is. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been violated as far as my home, but when I saw my car that was a skeleton of itself, it hurt. And it's been over, I don't know, 10, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking about it kind of like chokes me up a little bit.
Bringing back those memories,
and it hurts
right.
because like when I went over to the place, the thing about it is like the place that the police tow it, they charge such and such a day. And I called a We Buy Junk Cars guy, and he offered me, I think like $220 for the car.
For what was left of it.
Sight unseen. He didn't know what he was getting. And then we go out and look at it. And so basically I got the money from the guy. I gave it to the place, which was like $200 because it was like $180 a day. And it was less than 24 hours that I picked it up. But they're like, oh, blah, 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 whatever, yada, yada, yada. And so I ended up with $20.
It's a terrible situation,
really
Daniel. When we talk about things like this, with your car being stolen, and if somebody gets their house broken into, insurance is only going to cover so much of it. You got to pay for the rest.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like my daughter's funeral. All right, she was murdered.
Yeah.
All right. But, her funeral expenses, I had to bear a good portion of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fortunately in Georgia, there is a program here in the state, where if someone dies of a violent nature, that there is a program, where the state can, help pay for some of the funeral expenses. But the person who allegedly killed her didn't have to pay a dime, right?
Yeah.
The family has to pay for that. So, we're victimized, more than once.
Yeah.
It does happen. But, follow some of these safety tips we're talking about here, and that will, help lessen the possibility of somebody breaking into your home and, you're coming back from vacation and finding everything just as you left it. Another thing, too, Daniel, if you happen to live in one of these smaller communities, there are police departments out there that have programs available where you just notify them that you're going away, and officers during routine patrol while you're on vacation will actually stop at your house, and the officer will get out and do a physical check on your home. They'll
nice.
check on the doors, check on the windows, make sure everything is okay. That is a great program,
Absolutely.
I think. And, of course, you're not going to find it in the larger jurisdictions. They don't have the manpower or the availability to do that. But I know, there's a couple communities here locally that police officers will go ahead and make that effort. So, think of some of these things. Don't ever think for a moment that you can't be a victim, because there's always that possibility. And, you shouldn't be able to sit back and think, well, what's going on at home? I'm so worried about that. And which reminds me, Daniel, another thing about my alarm system, I've got several cameras through this house.
Mm-hmm.
And I can check on any room in this house that I have a camera anywhere in the world, as long as I have an internet connection.
That's good.
So if I'm thinking, I need to check and see, make sure everything's okay back at home. All I got to do is go to my phone and do that. And that problem's been alleviated right there.
That's nice.
Okay. I'll be notified of an alarm. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Yep.
That's the thing, you want to get away. You want to have a good time. You want to relax. You owe it to yourself and your family to do just that. It's time now for our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio.
Daniel, let's take a trip out to South Dakota.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, that would be an awesome trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's where all the prisons are. On
the side of the mountain, right, yeah. Well, if you happen to get out there in the Black Hills National Forest area, you want to check out the Bismarck Lake Campground. The Bismarck Lake Campground is set amidst a scattering aspen of groves and ponderosa pine on the southeast edge of Bismarck Lake at 5,000 feet. Bismarck Lake Campground has sites available for tents, trailers, and RVs. The access to the lake and within walking distance, and there's a beautiful boardwalk and with fishing piers along the water's edge. The campground has picnic tables, fire rings, vault toilets, drinking water. However, electrical hookups are not available.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Bring your generator, people.
No, that's one of the things that you got to check on the know before you go.
Oh.
Okay, so, you got to know what you're getting into, and that's why I tell people all the time, check those know before you go items before you book your reservation, whether it's on recreation.gov or any other website that you may be using to book your camping trip. The Bismarck Lake Campground is located in the western South Dakota area near Wyoming. The Black Hills National Forest encompasses nearly 1.25 million acres of rugged rock formations, canyons and gulches, open grasslands, parks, tumbling streams, deep blue lakes, and unique caves. I could have a field day out there with my camera, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Take a lot of pictures and everything. But we're going to have an information for you all week long on happycamperradio.com. And if you want to make your reservation, it's very simple. Go to recreation.gov and look that reservation up for Bismarck Lake. I think it will be a great place to go. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it to South Dakota, but it's definitely one of those places that I will consider. Bismarck Lake, it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel on happycamperradio.com.
And if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com or
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
Be sure to include a link to the campground website. Well, Daniel, that's going to wrap up today's edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Thank you so much for sharing your Memorial Day experiences. And, I kind of get all stressed out and everything when I talk about some of the things I had to talk about today.
Yeah.
Brings back a lot of memories. But, hey, it's a learning lesson. Hope you learned something today, too. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. Do like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us on the web 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Be a part of our studio audience by subscribing to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper.
Woo-wee.
And we're going to do our best to make a happy camper out of you. Talk to you again real soon. Thanks for joining us. This is Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper